Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk, and today, my friends, we are going to talk, if I can talk, ranked battles. Ranked battles. I feel like a bit of a broken record in terms of ranked battles when I talk about it. And my intent is not to completely bash it and say it's a terrible thing and it's awful. I think it's a good idea. I'm not digging the execution. I'm not digging the execution. It is my opinion that if you're going to have a ranked battles kind of mode, that if you cannot play any of the tier 10s in the game, oh, by the way, to include reward vehicles, as long as they're not overpowered, which is another subject, and have a chance or have fun or be on an equal footing, then what's the point? What's the point? Wargaming seems to want to have their cake and eat it too on this ranked battles thing. They want it to be a grindable mode for all players, but they also want the good players to feel like they are coming out on top and being ranked. It's called ranked higher than other players. What it turns out to be, unfortunately, is the good to great players just finish faster. And it is simply a grind that if you're good, you can finish faster and get out of it and move on because you want the tanks. Wargaming has often in the past had a problem with the mode to incentive to purpose. In theory, all the modes are for fun. The game is for fun. It's a video game online. We're supposed to enjoy ourselves. To a large extent, that is up to you. And if it's something you don't like, don't play it. So I got it. Absolutely. I could simply not play ranked. But there's some great tanks that I would like to get. And I would like the ranked experience to be good because I want the modes in the game that I enjoy so much to be good. So this is my feedback in terms of ranked and the issues I see with it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to watch this. I'm playing the Mana Core. We'll talk about it when we get done. I know a lot of you are saying, well, there's your first problem, doofus. You're playing the Mana Core. I take that criticism and I understand it. But reference what I said earlier, that if it's a mode where you can't enjoy or be competitive in all the tanks at tier 10, what are we doing? If you really wanted to do a ranked, you would do ladder and you would only let people use one tank and they would have the exact same setup. But we have many various tanks, varied crew skill levels, varied personal skill levels. Different tanks within classes are better than others. That list goes on. And Wargaming has attempted to kind of work on that a little bit, but they've put something in to ranked that is not well realized, and I think it's something that needs to be taken out. So we're going to watch this game. I'll just kind of comment on the game itself. We're not going to go too much over all those things I want to talk about when we get done. I'll just discuss what we're doing here. We bring the Mana Core, we come up top. We are on Himmel's Westdorf, and we've run into, what, 4 of theirs. So we have 4 of their tanks lit up, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a guy back there, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, there's one guy. Oh, there's a guy in town, it looks like. All right, so most of us are up in this general area up here. I immediately get 374 damage out. We got a 110E3 back there. I need to be careful about poking. The Leopard makes himself available, so I shoot him. Why? Because he's a much lighter tank, and I have a chance of pinning him. The 110E3 is going to be very difficult. Well, let's cover a little bit, though, about what we're going to talk about because it's germane to what I'm doing and what's going on. Role experience is going to be one of the big topics here. I am a light tank. In theory, my role is to be creating assist damage. But in ranked, where you need to be with your gun is in the critical terrain where the rest of your team is. And you will notice that our entire team came up here. Full disclosure, about 4 mediums and myself were headed for this south area, and one of, I think the Super Conqueror, maybe the phased guy, I believe, said, hey guys, never go south. Now, I was enjoying adult beverages earlier in the day with my friends, and had a barbecue. And I had just sat down and said, whatever, let's just play some ranked. I'm having a nice evening, so we'll just goof off. And I decided to play ranked. And I just sort of auto drove down to the south. We'll get going again. Actually, we'll pause because I'm going to do something important here. I sort of auto drove down the south, and I saw him type in. I said, you know what, you're right. We need to come up. When I turned around, and I was ahead of all of them, we all came back up the hill. Once he said that and I turned around, it was very interesting, actually. A little sidebar for this particular game. So we're all up here where we need to be, and we're starting to create. Well, we don't really have an advantage. They've actually done a pretty good job with us, but we're going to start creating advantage. Now I'm going to make a move here with my light tank, and I'm going to come around, do one of those kind of light tank things, be annoying, get in amongst them, grab some other real estate because of my speed. There goes the IS-7. Now we've got the Super Conqueror in big trouble. He really would like to shoot me. Several of our guys are coming around. T-62 pushes in. Super moves, has to react to it, and we start shredding this guy, which is going very nicely, and he bails out. He actually does a pretty decent job of staying alive here for a bit. Got the 50M down below. We're still down on hit points. We get a shot in there. I'm trying to track and damage him, but I don't manage that. He misses, thank goodness. And then we've got some guys pushing on the cap. All right. T-57 Super Conqueror are good players. They both go back to the cap along with, I believe, the Progetto. Is that what it is? No, it's the 50-51. So they do what needs to be done. I'm up here trying to help maintain what's going on here. We don't all want to bail off this hill and let them push up behind us and trap us on the other side of it. But I am going to fade back towards the other way. And it's that they have the Progetto. It gets in there and kills our 50-51. So this is still a pretty close game. I mean, this is actually kind of an enjoyable ranked game. I like that it's gone down to 10v10. That's fantastic. I would much rather it be 7v7. That is just a better game mode for ranked. But I understand why they don't, to some extent. Has something to do with chevrons and stuff, I would imagine, because in a 7v7, only one person would not get a chevron in a win. Because if you made it 2, that's 2 of 7. That really wouldn't work. And then if it's 1, if you're that one guy on a winning team, you could still contribute quite a bit in a 7v7 and then not get a chevron. And the issue I'm having with this is a lot connected with the chevron system. So we're going to come up over here, and I rushed that. I should have taken the shot, but I just didn't want to stand in. Should have shot much earlier. They're doing a good job dealing with the cap. I'd really like to get rid of the Super Conqueror. I do have to be careful for the 110E3. He's right there, kind of hanging out in the back still. Very surprised he hasn't pushed out and tried to help his team, but he's quite content to just sit there doing nothing. Missed opportunity on the 50M. I've got 1900 damage, 1,463 assists. And now I'm looking at this going, well, we're kind of starting to lose, and most of my strength is back here. STB, I apologize, but I'm bailing on you. Because by the time we get a 50M, a Super Conqueror, and that Leopard up here, we're in trouble. So now the calculus is, let's go clear the cap off and then get these 3 guys down here done with messing with this one dude, and we can all get back together and start taking these guys out. So the 62A gets nuked. All right, that's good. Now that flank's covered. Oop, there's a Leopard over there. Looks like those 3 are going to pounce on him, and this is what happens in ranked when you have some good players. You know, you get people isolated, the team is going to react to it and take care of it. Just as an aside, and we'll get to this later, but does that really have anything to do with roles? Does it have anything, or does it have to do with how this game is actually played, regardless of what your tank is and what its supposed role is? We'll get to that later. I'm going to come over here, jump in this bush, because now I know the 50M, the Super Conqueror, and the 110E3, the only 3 they have alive. They're a bit heavier than we are. We do have 1 extra tank, and we got me, the scout. So I'm kind of looking, all right, are they pushing in? If they're not, we're going to make something else happen. We're going to do that scout thing and start looking around. The 2 STBs are working down in the low area, and then the 50M just comes hauling ass out into the open. And this is sort of what I expected to have happen. I was kind of surprised the 110E3 wasn't kind of hot on his heels. We'll just take that shot. We actually light him on fire. And now I know what he wants to do is just come kill me, right? He sees a weaker tank, probably relatively isolated, and he wants to go ahead and get rid of me. He misses. Very helpful to my cause. We're going to do a little and then go. Stop and go. There we go. Just enough that he can't ram us, because that would have taken us out. We'll put a shot into him. He gets one into us. He gets hit by the T-57 who nukes him. There you go. Did that really have anything to do with a roll? Baiting that guy down there, taking him on, and helping my buddy taking him down. Was I really scouting? Not really. We're too close. I mean, I didn't get any assist out of it. But it was assist, wasn't it? Absolutely, it was assist. We brought the guy down there and we got him dead with the rest of the tanks. 3,166 damage. 3,166 damage. Here comes the super. We'll just park right here. He saw us. You can tell he's looking at us. STB's coming back. Look at that. Teamwork. You got to love it. Teamwork makes the dream work. We'll take a peek. He shoots. Everybody pushes in. Now I realize I need to get up underneath him right here. So if he wants to come shoot me, he's going to have to come up and over the edge here. This STB misses or bounces? He misses me. I bounce. I'm able to get away from him. And the STB, because of the awesome DPM / reload of the STB, takes that guy down. And now we're in really great shape. 3,166 damage, 1,463 assist. Did I really in that game do the roll as Wargaming considers it? Well, I've got 1,400 assist. 1,400 assist. But I didn't really sit in bushes and scout out the enemy. I took the tank to where it needed to be based on the map and the situation, and I started shooting people in my little mighty Manticore. I have 3,000 damage. I know I keep mentioning that, but we're going to talk about it. I'm sure you already have an idea of what the result and the complaint's going to be. We're going to add another 370 onto that. Nice little low roll. And I do make one sort of irritating mistake, and this is has a lot to do with enjoying my evening. He has pretty good hit points. The STB comes in there and shoots him, and he's got 168. Is that the rear? That's the, I think, yes, that's the back of the tank. I should have just shot him, but I said, big finish, I'm going to ram him. Maybe I can get some damage. What's funny is I don't think I do a single point to him, and I kill myself. But I did track him, my friends. I did track him. He fixes it too fast, though. So I stick and stay at 1,463 damage. 3,536 damage, 1,463 assist. Pretty good game. Got in there with my team. Went to the place I needed to be. Played the tank fairly well. Cranked up a lot of damage for a little Manticore. Chucked some assist on top for almost 5,000. Almost 5,000. Let's go to the results. All right, results. Who's he? He's anonymous. He did 1,200 experience, 4,613 damage, well more than anybody else. 3 kills, some assist, makes total sense, right? Not an argument there. He's number 1. But let's take a look at what the role experience stuff and the way they do it in ranked. What happens with number 2, 3, and 4? All right, I'm number 4. It is sour grapes, 100,000% sour grapes at this point. I looked at this result and went, you gotta be shitting me. You gotta be shitting me. 3,536 damage in my Manticore. I am third place at 822. The 2 tanks above me did less. 2,128 for the heavy, 2,849 for the other heavy. We look at Alexandros. He got 684 to my 646 total for damage and destruction. Even though he did no assistance and 2,128. He also has some kills though. He was sitting at 3 kills and the Super Conqueror at 1 kill, and I don't have any kills. Browntown, 2,849. He's a little closer. No assist, none, but has some decap points. That was important, I will admit. Traveled a whole 1.19. I did 5 miles. Assistance 68. Okay. Obviously there's points for assistance that I don't know, because also too, and in addition to, Alexandros got 50 for assistance. There's no assistance down here. Who's got 58 for assistance at 336? I got 87 at 1463. Compliance with vehicle roll. And for me, this is the problem with the whole thing. Compliance with vehicle roll. Duh, comrade. You must comply with the way we want you to play your tank. Which means for heavy tanks, some of them get experience for getting shot in the face. Or for doing damage close in. Things that happen anyway in a game. Things that almost always have to happen in a game. Whereas being a scout hiding in a bush and doing scout things, especially in these smaller formats, don't necessarily have to happen. They can, sometimes they do. They don't necessarily have to happen. I've done videos on this already with specifically the Manticore, where I am out there doing things, spots, whatever the case may be, things that help the team win, things that are critical to the win, and getting not enough credit for it. In terms of this mode, I am 4th place, folks. I am 2nd in damage. I am 1st in assistance by a long margin. And I end up being 4th place. Now, it's not by a whole bunch, 822 to 889. But this roll experience thing. Hoosie got 279. Not arguing that. This guy is number 1. That's not a question. We'll just get rid of Hoosie. Hoosie won. He's number 1. There's no question there. Alexandros has 155 for compliance with vehicle roll. 131. That's the difference between us. The difference between the placing, 100,000% is, and look how close we were on just damage and destruction in the 600. 646, 648, 684. That's right in there. You know, to be honest, if I'd have taken that last shot, I might have been number 3. I'm arguing that I should have been number 2 based on what's going on here. 155 for vehicle roll, which was get close and shoot people because it's a heavy. That's the difference in getting 2 chevrons. By the way, you need to be 1st or 2nd to get 2, or 1. Doing more damage than them. I did not comply with my vehicle roll. 718 of my damage, in all fairness, was at 300 or more, which is going to be a reduction in experience. That is a standard mechanic of the game. So I do get that, absolutely. Just very, very interesting, man. It is the role experience thing that is driving me the craziest in this mode. And it makes me, when I have a game like that and I see that I came out 4th after doing all that I did with that little tank and not getting really anything out of it, it makes me just walk away from the mode and not want anything to do with it. Which, wah, nobody cares. I got it. But as a commenter on the passing scene of this game, I thought I'd throw it out there just in case anyone from Wargaming is listening. The role experience idea is a failure. It is a failure. It's actually hurting your mode, because what it's doing is it is channelizing people into these specific roles and tanks that can do whatever that role is well, which has nothing to do with the way the game should be played. And I use "should" as if I'm the person who knows how it should be played. So that's not the word I want to use. It forces people to comply with certain ways the devs think the game should be played. And I guess we can have an argument about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I happen to think that's a bad thing, because I think a video game is more of a free-form thing where you give the people the tools and they play it according to the way they want. And people will learn how to best play it. But I don't think your role experience is as close to that as you think it is. Especially when I can see objective results where somebody has a pretty dang good game in a little tank like this and ends up being 4th when they're 2nd in damage and 1st by miles in assist. It ain't working, man. It isn't working. And that's why I think a lot of people are walking away from this mode. And frankly, and this is directly for the devs, I was going to say the only, you can't use absolutes, but I will bet you that a very significant portion of the people who are playing this mode are only doing it because they want the tank, not because they like the mode the way it's set up. And I'm not saying that ranked is a terrible mode and should be deleted from the game files, never to be seen again. I think it's a pretty good idea. I think the implementation has been poor. And it becomes this weird, painful grind to unlock some tanks that are behind a mode wall. Let me just throw one other thing about the mode wall out there. The time limit thing is insane. Forcing people to play during a certain time. I guess NA doesn't have enough people or some such thing. I don't really believe that. People will wait as long as they want to get into the mode. I don't know why that's a problem. If you're playing during the day and you know that the population is low, then you go in knowing that. There's a little warning. Hey, you may have to wait for a while to get a game. All right, noted. Got it. Not a big deal. So there you go. My opinion on ranked battles such as they are right now. Maybe at some point I'll try to fight my way through to Division 2 one of these seasons so I can at least use some bonds to buy one of the older tanks. I'm certainly not going to get... I would love to get the 114 SP2, but I am just not going to subject myself to such poor results for good gameplay. It isn't happening. That's all I've got. Let me know what you guys think down below. We will see ya.